Hello everyone and welcome back to another flight simulator video. Today we'll be taking a look at the TDS 787-9. Now before we get into this aircraft and what we're going to be doing today, I guess my inspiration for this video is for those of you who don't follow the commercial flight community too closely. I don't even know if you could say too closely. The 737 MAX just earlier this week completed its first flight. Which is kind of what got me, in the Boeing mood. We're at a BFI Boeing field in a 787-9, which is a relatively new aircraft that completed its first flight only last year, I believe, and is just now entering, not just now, but is entering scheduled service. So as I said before, this is the TDS 787-9, and we are in Flight Simulator 2004, FS9, whatever you want to call it. But if I showed you this aircraft and didn't tell you what sim we were in, and I managed to overlay FSX or X-Plane or something, I'm willing to bet that I could trick you into thinking this aircraft is not from FS2004. There's a few reasons for that, and we'll get started with what I like. Actually, no, let's get started with what I don't like. What I don't like about this aircraft are two things, but they are very, very big things. The two things that I do not like about this aircraft is the flight model, in my opinion, is near trash. I find the aircraft is constantly pitching up or pitching down, almost out of control regardless of what trim settings I have, which kind of affects flight in general. Yet the roll characteristics seem almost too high performance, I guess. And then the only other thing I don't care for, which some people can get over because they like 2D panels, is there is no virtual cockpit at all. None. No VC. Which, again, some of you don't care about, and you probably saw me scroll past it just a minute ago. Your other option is the default 777 panel that you would get with the standard 777 in the game. So those are the two things I don't like about this aircraft. Oh, and the engine sounds are from the generic 777 as well. Things that can easily be fixed, overwritten, changed, because it says Flight Simulator. You can drag and drop files from different aircraft, and they should work just fine, hence why we have the default panel for the 777 in here. Everything else about this aircraft I love. Given flight model it's huge, that's why we're only going to be doing a high-speed taxi today in comparison to a real flight. But just everything about this aircraft is immaculate. So you can see right now we're sitting on the ground. We've got the navigation lights on, beautiful looking navigation lights on the tail and wingtips, and we have one set of air stairs and a tug in its standby position. Now, normally in FS9, that's kind of all you get for a freeware airplane. This is freeware. I should have pointed that out beforehand, but this is freeware. Doesn't cost any money. To get to some of the supports that this aircraft has, and there are quite a few of them, let me just enable all of them. You usually have to step into payware realms. I don't know if you heard my mouse clicking, but if we take another look around the aircraft here, we can see we're essentially being swarmed with catering GPUs at the front, ground, just everything. Passenger buses, fuel trucks, de-icing, which are clipping into each other. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I can also, actually, let me clean some of this up here first. I can also move the tow tug at the front there. You might have noticed I said it was in the standby position. I can move the tug forward so it's actually making contact with our aircraft, and then when you simulate the pushback, it makes it a little bit more I don't know, realistic, I guess you could say. Just little details I like. I also have full control over the aircraft lights, everything. I can turn the cabin lights on and off should I so choose to. Wing lights just in front of the wing spar right there. You can see me toggling that on and off. Of course, navigation lights. Taxi lights, landing lights. We'll do all of those in a second. The strobe lights are great. Beacon's great. So yeah, let's actually turn the beacon on, and we'll go engine start here. And I mean, again, this is FS9 or FS2004, whatever you want to call it, but the fact that it's making this ground, I don't even know what you want to call it. It's the light diffusing on the ground like you would see on a real aircraft. That's not really modeled in FS2004. Generally speaking, again, you know, if you step into the payware range, I'm sure you can get it somewhere, but that's just so cool on a freeware airplane, and the strobe lights do the same thing as well. Control surfaces, everyone knows the 787 control surfaces. Pop the spoilers, track them. And we might be getting in the way of a 727 who's going to just plow straight through our empennage. Thank you. Ah, yes, thank you, my traffic. Or did you stop? No, you're just going straight through our empennage. That's fine. That's fine. We're going to keep pushing back. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn on the taxi lights, which again creates a nice gentle wash along the side of the fuselage there. And once we get far enough back to where I can either clip through this building or just turn the aircraft out, you'll be able to see get rid of the tug here. You can see the taxi lights on the bottom as well. Landing lights, it's the same lighting configuration, just brighter. And when you shut off the taxi lights, you can actually see on the nose wheel there, as well as on the inboard light ports, lights do extinguish. So there are separate taxi and landing lights, which is pretty cool. Again, not something you really normally see modeled in FS9. So we're going to go ahead here and we're going to taxi up behind this 727 who ran into us. And we will do a high-speed taxi down runway 13 right. Another small thing to point out is, so obviously when we're on the ground using our nose wheel steering, that's done separately from the rudder, so if I move the pedals back and forth aggressively, you'll see zero movement on the actual rudder control surface of the aircraft. It's all nose wheel. Very identical. I was going to say very similar to the 787 in real life, but it's identical. That's how the real 787 does it. I'm not too sure about the taxi light pattern as far as the beam casting. I do like it. I like the wide beam, but it looks almost like we have runway turnoff lights on in addition to the taxi lights, which again I'm not opposed to, but looks like we have, how many is that, like 5 different beams coming out of our nose wheel alone, and the 2 additional beams on the wing spars of the aircraft, or the wing roots, I should say. Put my one notch. And like I said before, there's not a whole lot to look at on the inside, so we're just going to taxi the majority of this from, we're going to do the whole thing actually from the outside. I am not a fan of 2D panels. I had a buddy of mine, he actually works for Textron now, fixing Cessna citations. When we were in school together, he always flew on the 2D panel. I'd call him up and be like, yo man, I got this new airplane, it's got this awesome 3D VC, and he'd be like, yeah, does it have a 2D panel? So, I don't know. he was, he was Mr. 2D Panels. In fact, he wanted to take this aircraft. I've had this aircraft for a while, but he wanted to take this aircraft on a flight, but I couldn't get any real libraries for it. So we took a 757 instead, I think. Alright, so we're turning out onto the active now. I'm going to turn on the wing strobe and landing lights. You can already see what I was talking about with the strobe lights, with that ground effect. That is just, that is just the coolest thing in the world. If I rotate around to the front of the aircraft, you can actually see them blinking right next to the navigation lights. As well as if I turn off the navigation lights altogether, if you look at the tail section of the aircraft, those of you who know the actual 787 will know this, but that tail section right there actually blinks just like it would on the real aircraft. And then when you turn the nav lights back on, it just blinks slightly brighter. Again, just like the real aircraft would. So we're lined up here. We're going to go full power. And we'll release brakes. And we're going to simulate a RTO here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw on the parking brakes, dump the spoilers, and open the speed reversers. I almost said thrust reversers. So we're going to do that as we cross this next taxiway here. Okay, standing by, and cut power, full brakes, and dumping the spoilers. Thrust reversers are in full. Pretty easy, painless simulated RTO. We'll go ahead and deconfigure taxi on back. And you might have noticed as I was powering up there, the cabin lights went off. That was the automatic cabin feature that comes with this aircraft. So I can turn on and off the cabin lights manually if I so choose, but I can also set it to do it automatically, which is pretty cool. So like if I set 5 degrees of flaps, they'll turn off. And then if I bring the flaps back in, once the flaps retract, they'll turn back on like you just saw there. Let's see here, how badly are we holding up traffic? Not too bad. Left turn here. Yeah, we'll park up next to these UPS aircraft. Yeah, there's a UPS 76 right there. We'll park next to you. Well, if we don't overshoot, that is, which we're going to, because I am genius. Yes, I am genius. I also English very well. Turn off those blinding taxi lights. Oh, there's a taxiway sign we just ran over. It wasn't illuminated, so I didn't see it. Now it's illuminated on the other side. It's not on this side. Oh well. Alright, we'll call that a parking job there. Go ahead and put on the parking brakes and shut down the engines. And that's pretty much it, you guys. Yeah, I just wanted to show you one of my, I will call it a work in progress aircraft. Because it is an absolutely immaculate aircraft from the standpoint of what it has to offer compared to, you know, what sim it's in. Because again, how old is Flight Simulator 2004? Because I'm pretty sure it came out before 2004, actually. It's ancient is what I'm getting at, okay? And, you know, here today in 2016, we're still, or at least I'm still playing it. And And, I've gotten a couple comments saying, I love FS2004. I played over Flight Sim 10. So anyway, I'm rambling now, but thank you guys so much for watching this little, I don't even know what to call it, but thank you for watching it regardless. If you like the Flight Sim stuff, let me know in a comment, personal message, leave a like, something like that, just so I know what to keep coming for you guys. Other than that, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. Take it easy.